Hello Pisces, it's Yvonne here from the Aussie Goddess to do your reading for the 28th of October to the 3rd of November, your weekly reading. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. It grows daily and I'm really, still can't believe it. I'm a little bit shocked by it all. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for the new people who are now on board with us. And if you haven't joined up yet, we'd love to have you to subscribe. That's a hard word for me to say. I'm very... Okay, so if my readings don't resonate with you, please remember to check out other aspects of your natal chart because sometimes they do resonate. However, if that doesn't work for you, you can always move on to another reader. I always say don't take things personally. It's easy to move on to someone else. Okay, Pisces, what's happening for you for the next week? Oh, I rather like that. So we have the Ace of Pentacles here. Now, the Ace of Pentacles talks about having a new start, and it's generally something tangible. So it can be about new start in job, something that's raising money for you, that's for sure. But it also talks about stability, having a new start with stability. You may be on the verge of asking someone to go into a serious relationship with you. It could be that you're feeling at a time in your life when, you know, things are working really nicely for you and you're having a new start in a brand new home. You just rented a home, whatever it is, whatever stability means for you. So nice start to the week, Pisces. Okay, first card out is the Hermit. So you may have been in a bit of a slump. A bit of a thoughtful period just recently. Could be that you've spent a lot of time looking inside yourself, maybe working on something that wasn't working out right for you. The Hermit often comes out when we need to shine a bit of light on those dark spots, those little dusty corners in our brains, our hearts. So it looks like you've probably had a bit of sort of this looking inside yourself lately, this searching. Okay, and then we have the World. Well, that makes sense. So with the Hermit and the World here, I would say to you there's a very, very good chance that you've either closed out a cycle or you're ready to close out a cycle. What this means is you've probably been doing, it's the old saying about doing the same thing over and over again and still getting the same result. Cycling is something that many of us do because we don't know how to get out of a pattern of behaviour that we've been either taught in childhood or we've learned. So sometimes that can mean that. The other thing the World can do too, it can talk about, you know, perhaps looking at having an overseas holiday, especially with the Hermit here. Maybe you're tired and need to get away for a while. So that's sort of a little bit of a different meaning. And then we have the Fool here. So Ace of Pentacles up front, and now we have the Fool. I'm thinking for a lot of you, new starts everywhere. I think you've had some sort of awakening, some sort of change in your thinking. Maybe you've been seeing things a certain way for so long and now you've had to go inside in the Hermit and really understand why you see them that way. We all do it. It's a little bit of an awakening, an epiphany moment. I'm quite surprised I don't have the Tower really. The Fool talks of starting new beginnings. This is a leap of faith though, because if you've come through some sort of cycle, this may be something you've not, you may be approaching the world in a very different way, that's for sure. Okay, and then we have Death. So we now have 4 major arcanas here. What is going on, Pisces? You're in for a big week this week. So the card of Death talks about transformation. This is sort of like all these cards rolled into one. This is about really going inside yourself and understanding who you are. Digging deep, digging real deep to find out and being able to come out somewhat different to when you went in. So it's sort of the butterfly effect, I was going to say then, but not the movie. It's sort of like the caterpillar going to the butterfly. It's like you've had to spend time looking inside yourself. And look, it doesn't surprise me with these other cards here. It's actually a really deep meaning here. But whatever work you've been doing, Pisces, it's been, yeah, look, because you're ready to face the future now. You're waiting for your ships to come in. I like it. I think something has happened to you here to make you go deep inside and have a really good look about yourself, what you want in your life. making some deep changes. This isn't like this isn't like changing your dress or moving house. This is about really understanding who you are, really getting in amongst it all. And for some of you, this could have meant taking time out, cutting yourself off from the world, maybe, you know, cutting back on the amount of time that you had, perhaps socializing, spending time alone. Yeah, see Four of Swords here as well. The Four of Swords talks about meditation. It's about, you know, the rest of the dead. It's a real deep, dark rest, really searching. Every one of these cards is about looking inside yourself to make new starts. So a very dark time for you, really. I hope some happy cards come out soon. So there's been a lot of confusion around this too. So, you know, sometimes when Spirit calls us for an awakening or gets us to look deep inside ourselves, sometimes it can be confusing because you may not understand why this needs to occur. Sometimes it's just through, you know, tears of grief and, you know, opening up to something that you've bottled up for a really long time, and sometimes you just have to let that go. But it can be a lot of other things too. You know, a lot of the time we go through periods like this if we've lost something we've loved, if, you know, somebody has left us that we loved. There's a million reasons why something can occur like this, but this is definitely spiritually led, and Spirit does want you to look inside yourself. And why they're saying to turn yourself inside out, because that's the message I'm getting. You needed to turn yourself inside out. So what that means to me is the person you are on the inside is not the person you are on the outside. That's really deep. Okay. So you may have been trying to present somebody to the world that you weren't. So you've been wearing a mask. That's what they're saying. You need to turn the inside out, because the person who's on the inside is probably an incredibly beautiful human being, but you're so busy putting on a front or a mask for the world to see that you don't present the beautiful being that you are. So the Queen of Pentacles comes out here. So this can be a number of reasons why this comes out. You could have a lot of earth in your chart, a Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. You could be dealing with a Capricorn, Taurus or Virgo, or this can just be the energy you're taking on at the moment, because the earth signs are very down to earth, very grounded, very focused on what they're doing and where they're going. It's often about, you know, they sort of talk about Capricorns as being money hungry and chasing money, but it isn't. The Capricorn is just very security conscious. They want stability. And if that means making enough money to have a stable existence, that's what Capricorns are. Virgos are very much creatures of habit. They like things done a certain way. Taurians are different again, but they're all very grounded signs. They all like to have, you know, things in order, understand security. They're not a flighty sign. It always makes me think really funny things when people say things like, you know, they're cold or whatever, and it's not. It's just that Capricorns are very focused. I'm a Capricorn. We're very focused on our security and our stability. For Virgos and Taurus, same. It's what it's about. So I'm looking here thinking, maybe this is about your long-term security. Maybe you've had a very unstable life. Maybe you've not found someone to settle down with. Maybe you haven't had a job that's given you long-term security. Something's happened here to make you want this stability. And it could have been heartbreak, because we have the Three of Swords here. So it could have been that you've been put on this spiral because you were in love with someone and they broke your heart. It could have been something else, but whatever it was, you can see here it's like really done some damage to you. So I really feel that for a lot of you, you've had to go inside because you've experienced a very deep level of grief and betrayal. So this is not an easy reading, Pisces, and it really is a tough one. So please let me know what's been going on for you. But I can tell you from this reading, something amazing is coming after all of this, because Spirit is preparing you for something, and I can feel it here. I almost want to pull another card, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that, because it's really important for you to just be in this place at the moment. The card that's come out for you is free will. I really like this. We've been talking tiaras and crowns today at work, and all wearing our crowns around, so it's quite apt. Free will talks about sovereignty, independence, and free spirit. So I'll just read you the meaning from the book. Okay. Free will. You know now that to do something against the free will of another, to withhold or connive or take from another what they need to make a full decision, is a kind of sin. And when one steals this right from another, a bond is developed between the two. Perhaps not immediately, but a reckoning will be made and a debt will be paid. You are considering how best to respect this right while achieving what it is you wish for in this lifetime. Simply respect this law, and all that comes to you will bring great blessings. This is about feeling safe. Okay, trying to see how Spirit wants to apply this. Because what it's saying in this reading is that you've done something, you've built yourself some safety in your external image, and you're very vulnerable on the inside, and it's like you don't want to show the inside because that makes you vulnerable. And people have hurt you because you give off this image a certain way, and people don't realize how they cut deep inside you with things. What the card is saying is that you need to be openly vulnerable with things. You can't hold someone else responsible for your pain. I think that's what it may mean. Anyway, Pisces, thank you.